Hello everyone. Sorry I'm not here today, but here's your Mindful Monday quote, be the reason someone smiles. That's always nice to think about. So I do have notes for you today, but first, if you want to pause the video, you can check your homework. Here's 11 through 14. These were all supposed to be left in general form. So remember, general form, A has to be positive, and you can't have any fractions. So for each of these, you want to clear the fraction, get everything to one side so that 0 is on the other side. So again, you can pause the video and check your answers and then press play when you're ready. Our notes today are about perpendicular lines. So they don't actually have to be just lines, they could be rays or segments. And they're perpendicular if they intersect, and they also have to form right angles. And we have a symbol, and it looks like an upside down capital T, or it also looks like two little tiny segments that are perpendicular to each other. So when you see that symbol, it means perpendicular. Let's draw a picture of two perpendicular segments. And since they're forming right angles, we know that we should see the 90-degree little box representing that right angle. Let's put some points on here. This will be A, B, C, D. So notation, we would say segment AB is perpendicular to segment CD. So we used that symbol. Whenever you see the perpendicular symbol and you know that you have right angles, you should mark the right angles in your picture right away. A couple of rules. If two lines are perpendicular, then the pairs of adjacent angles they form are congruent, because we know that all right angles are congruent, but also they form a linear pair. Number two, if two lines are perpendicular, then all four angles that are formed are right angles. And that leads us to rule number 3. If they're all right angles, they all have to be congruent, because we know all right angles are congruent. Okay, now the distance from a point to a line. Let's draw that. Here's a point and here's a line. If we want the most accurate distance from the point to the line, we want to use the perpendicular line segment. So that means we connect the point to the line with a segment that is perpendicular to the line. So I actually want to show you this picture. So notice, if I look at point E and point A, and I want an accurate distance from those points to the segment BC that I have highlighted in green, I would want to connect the point to the segment with a right angle. Notice if I move point E and I no longer have the right angle, like this distance changes. If I want an accurate distance, I should get it to 90 degrees. Oh, there it is. Oh, almost. But as close as you can get to 90 degrees, the more accurate you're going to be. Oh, there we go. Okay. Awesome. So that shows you that rule. All right, and then the last term today is a really important one, perpendicular bisector. This can be a plain line, right, or segment. And it's a perpendicular bisector if it is perpendicular and a bisector. Shocker. So let's think about this. Let's get a picture going. This will be segment AB. And let's put a line going through. This will be line CD. And we're going to say line CD is the perpendicular bisector of AB. Notice I used the perpendicular symbol. So the perpendicular part means that CD is perpendicular to AB. So we want to mark the right angle in the picture. So I did that in red. So let's make a little note. Mark the right angle. Then the bisector part. So think about the segment. A segment bisector goes through the midpoint. So line CD goes through the midpoint of AB. And if there's a midpoint, that means AE is congruent to EB. So we should mark those segments. And I just realized I forgot to put point E on there. It'll be right smack dab in the middle. All right, so whenever you see perpendicular bisector, there's a lot going on. You have the right angle and you have a midpoint, so you have two congruent segments. Okay, so that is your new vocab for today. And what you're going to do next is you're going to get onto GeoGebra on your laptops. Make sure you type in this URL. So look closely here in green. It's geogebra.org/geometry. If you don't put the /geometry part, it takes you somewhere else. So while you're here, you're going to follow the directions that are on the back of your note sheet. So they should look like this. So you're going to follow all these directions. You can work with a partner to help you out. And when you're done, I want you to take a screenshot and upload it to Moodle. So if you have any questions, you can let me know when I come back. Otherwise, have fun working on GeoGebra, and your homework is written on the board. I will see you guys tomorrow.